Back with Jack Cafferty. He's got the Cafferty file. Jack.
On this, the 5th anniversary of the United States invasion of Iraq, it is worth noting that if the Bush administration gets its way, our involvement there will stretch far beyond the 5 years. Vice President Dick Cheney has been in Iraq this week playing let's make a deal when it comes to our nation's long-term role in a country we now occupy. Cheney came away from 2 days of private meetings with promises from Shia, Sunni, and Kurdish officials to firm up a new blueprint for relations between the U.S. and Iraq. This deal would replace a UN Security Council resolution that expires in December, the same time that President Bush leaves office. The administration insists the deal will not create permanent U.S. bases in Iraq, will not set terms for U.S. troop levels, and will not tie the hands of future presidents. And in keeping with the arrogant, unilateral way it has conducted business for more than 7 years, the Bush administration says it probably will not bother to get Senate approval for any of this. Why should the American people have anything to say about it? The administration says they're not going to get approval because it's not a treaty that provides Iraq with specific security guarantees. Democrats in Congress aren't happy. Some lawmakers have proposed legislation that would make the administration's agreement null and void unless they agree to get Senate approval. Given the Democrats' overwhelming lack of success in stopping President Bush from doing anything, I wouldn't hold my breath. Here's the question. Should the Bush administration be negotiating long-term agreements in Iraq without the consent of the American people? Go to CNN.com/Cafferty file and post a comment on my blog. Question is, should the Bush administration be negotiating long-term deals in Iraq without the consent of the American people? Tony in Kentucky writes, geez, Jack, you act like this president's never broken any laws. This president should be tried for war crimes or treason, but he won't be. Controlling the oil in the Middle East means we have to be there to babysit the Iraqi government while they cheat their own people. You know, it's called democracy. Ian in North Carolina. Jack, great question. Here's a better one. Even if Bush had 95% support from the American people, would it be proper to continue with over 2/3 of the Iraqi people saying, get out now? I don't think it matters what Americans think. No amount of polling will change the fact that a grave breach of international law has occurred. Barbara in Connecticut writes, absolutely not. Too many things in this administration have been done in secret. This is how Bush and company set up themselves and their cronies for years to come. The heartbreaking part of it is it won't be their children, grandchildren, or family members who will be stuck in the Middle East dealing with this setup for years. Ours will. Brian in California, absolutely. Bush and any president dealing with Iraq has the authority and right to make any military decision they believe is in the best interest of the people of this country. Joan in North Carolina. How many times has President Bush said he told the Iraqis he didn't plan a long-term presence in their country and that they had to get on with their benchmarks because the occupation was not open-ended? He lied. He was planning this all along. And Pete writes, since when has this administration checked the pulse of the American people before they did anything? I saw where Dick Cheney responded with a blunt so when he was told that 2/3 of Americans are against the war. Wolf.